Well, my name is Jeff Hayes, and this is a video on my encounter when I reached out to Senator Lankford's office. Uh, of course, we're going to use the official photo because it's the official photo. So basically, what I did is I reached out, left a recording on their answering machine, and I was called back. There's going to be a written part of this coming up after we get done with the official photo. And there for a while I thought, alright, finally there's somebody in Oklahoma you can turn to when criminal acts have been committed against you. Well, I come to find out it was all useless. A waste of time, waste of effort. And this is the same thing that I got from the governor, somebody else. And this tells it, well, I sent them, and then they sent me a privacy release form. I filled it out. This individual, Harvey, and then, and the courts have failed because the people in them they're not following Oklahoma law. They're not following the federal law. They're just doing it by themselves. And Oklahoma senators and the DA she just fabricated everything. And when I found out, and they're like 30 years, man, she's had a lot of time to screw a lot of American citizens over, because this is the most sloppiest and gross dereliction of duty I've ever seen anywhere, and pretty much I'm not sure if this goes on in any other state. So here I sent all this stuff in, and like I said, I called back 2 weeks later because I knew they wouldn't have resolved it, but where they were on it and stuff like this. Well, of course, when they noticed the obvious, provable of corruption, crime, judges not doing their jobs, all this. So they sent me this letter back regarding my case, that they say that it's a court issue. Well, the courts are the issue. I'm not stupid. It's the judicial members. It's like, if you get a judge trial, then you're told you can get an appeal, but they don't tell you that no judge will overturn another judge's decision. So even though this was instigated by Campbell and everybody in Bryan County, when the appeal got to the OCCA and they follow this ruling that the judges in Oklahoma are more concerned with being buddies with each other than upholding justice and performing their duties. So they never looked at the evidence like they're supposed to. Hell, Campbell's supposed to look at the evidence before he sits over a trial, because that's one of his jobs, one of his duties. He's supposed to be the arbitrator. He's supposed to make sure that the defendant's rights are not being violated, and he's supposed to make sure he's qualified for the case. So he'll have to go through, and plus he's supposed to know the difference in the procedures and protocol between a misdemeanor and a felony case. Because in a misdemeanor case, since the punishment is not that severe, you don't have to be spot on or exact with the evidence and everything. But in a felony case, the evidence has to fit the criteria of the charge that you're charging an individual with to the letter. You can't think it's close. It can't be close. It has to be exact, because it's a felony case. It's not misdemeanor, so there's a different procedure and protocol and severity, so the DA has to be held more accountable. The judge has to make sure that the defendant's rights in a felony case and that the evidence does meet the charges to the letter in a felony case. And And here I laid everything out for them. I've got the evidence that the state, the exact evidence that the state presented, uh, and I even include uh, their evidence, and I even point out that you can't use it because I was terminated. So just because I signed an employment agreement, the moment the company uh, terminated me, it's done. Plus the fact that I wasn't even working for the company when they brought these charges against me, and they have to prove trade secret, and they couldn't do that. And after the American Consumer Protection Act, companies have to prove it. Okay, so I laid all this stuff out to them, and I gave them, even helped them and gave them a brief. You know, so the issue is with the crime and corruption in the judicial system, and the judges not doing their jobs. That's the issue, and he even Lankford should even know that at this point, because I've proven that the people that you would normally have review this evidence are the ones that failed to review this evidence and made the wrong call, because anybody that can read, you don't have to be a lawyer to read the Title 21 crimes and punishments. And if you got reading comprehension skills, it tells you in everyday plain language what the evidence, the criteria of the evidence. See, they're charging me with larceny of trade secrets, and they couldn't even prove trade secrets. They couldn't even prove the attempted extortion. Plus the fact they're saying that I took schematics, and they never proved anything. They didn't even have the evidence for anything. So the issue is with the court system and how Oklahoma, the way they always let it run, and it's a violation of federal law. It violates even their own state law. It violates the charter. It violates the judge's canon. And they're not going to do anything, because the people that are responsible for checking this are the people that committed the offense. So they're not going to have a moment of enlightenment, and an angel's going to come down and threaten them hell and damnation. They're going to all of a sudden come forward and repent and confess their crimes, because they're not going to do it. Because Oklahoma currently protects their professional criminals. So Lankford and Mark Wayne, they're distracted by, they want to complain about what's happening everywhere else, but they're not being a positive, proactive in cleaning up this crap in their own state. See, and all I gotta do is go to a different state that does, that's more American, and it does actually have uh, American citizens that care about doing their jobs, responsible. You actually have judges that are honorable, and go to the Attorney General and show them this crap. And it's not called asylum, but yeah, they'll block any attempt that Oklahoma tries to do against me on any crap, because they can pretend it's not happening, but everybody knows it's happening. Because everybody that's come to this state and been treated this way and left this state has told it, their family and everybody else. I mean, this is not good for business coming into your state. So as long as you conduct yourselves this way and you're really sloppy at it, I mean, basically not to do this crap at all. Just do your jobs the way you're supposed to. But you swore to do. And if you're not sure about it, I'm sure there's a manual. I'm sure, that tells you what you're supposed to do. First, you need to read the definition of honorable. You need to read the definition of integrity, morality, understand that you're in America, and that you're supposed to be an honest person and not a member of an organized criminal group. Because basically this is, you could say safely, this would be organized crime. Because criminal acts are being done, and it's organized. So the federal government needs to step in and hold these people all underneath the RICO Act and hold them accountable. See, the court is the problem. The judicial system isn't the real problem, it's the members. Because you got the local district judges, if they can convince, and that's what they did, they got my elderly mother worked up and had her come over, and she's like, take the judge, you'll get an appeal. But see, at that time, I looked across there at Mark Campbell. He got a clean haircut and everything. And I think, well, he's probably honorable, maybe. And that's the only reason, because my mom was upset. You know, Jeff Clark got upset. But then I stop and think about it. Well, Jeffrey Dahmer's had a clean cut, short haircut, and, you know, we know about him, but never read a book by its cover, judge a book by its cover. Not here in Oklahoma. So all I need is a committee that's impartial and can actually read and has a copy of the Title 21, Crime and Punishment, and understands the difference between misdemeanor court procedures and protocol and evidence requirements compared to a felony case, and have some knowledge of the law. But the main thing being honest, people of integrity, patriotic Americans, and they have to have a sense of right and wrong. And that's all I'm looking for, is a committee, because I already know the judicial members, and even though the OCCA members don't think that Mark Campbell committed a crime, because they didn't even review the evidence. All they knew is that it was a judge trial, and no judge goes against another judge in Oklahoma, so they didn't even do nothing. They just wrote up some lame this versus that and denied it. Because had they done their jobs and failed to reach the right decision, then that would have shown incompetence or being part of the crime, the criminal activity. And see, none of this is stuff I made up. This is their actual dockets. Their appellate, the appeal, you know, where they're stating the evidence. And where I'm stating the lack of evidence. So that's basically what I need. It's just a committee. And Lankford knows it. He knows what it is, what it's like in Oklahoma. No local lawyer's gonna take the case. So don't even bother getting a lawyer in Oklahoma, because they're gonna say conflict of interest. And you already know, because Wallace Copeland on 5/11 or something like that of 21 or 20, that court date there, where he sat there for 15 minutes and told me that no judge will go against another judge in Oklahoma. I was like, how does that work? Is that legal? I mean, so here we go, and I'm still looking for a righteous and honorable person who knows the difference between right and wrong. And apparently finding them in Oklahoma is going to be very difficult. And I hope this doesn't happen to you, and my advice to you is to avoid this, stay out of Oklahoma. You have a good day now.